All right, good morning, everybody. Here we are for our weekly supervisor meeting, Monday, March 2nd. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes?
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Public comment. Hearing none, moving on to claims.
Very good, sir.
Approve the claims as presented. Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Payroll.
Yeah, I have two items for you today. The first is going to be the warrant register for period ending 2/21/2026.
I move to approve payroll as presented.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
And then the second will be a PAF change for Sheriff's Office promotion to lieutenant effective March 2nd, 2026. This will be a motion.
I move to approve the promotion PAF change for personnel as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Drainage.
I know you're very sure.
All right. Item 4, looks like we've got a liquor license renewal. Are all the documents in order?
They are. Signatures are on file and all documents are in order.
I move to approve the liquor license for Pine Creek as presented.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 5, Mr. Auditor.
This is the annual process. We contract with the vendor to do the cost analysis survey. It's a requirement for VA, different organizations as well. All the documents were prepared and were submitted to you. We just need your approval to certify those and then put in those filed. Those costs are essentially passed through process.
After reviewing this, I see no problem. Again, it's annual. I move to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 6. Is there a motion to approve the proclamation?
I move to approve the proclamation for Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month for January 2026.
Second. Motion and second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I will read the proclamation. Whereas the United States was founded upon the principle that all people are created equal with inalienable right of freedom and added the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, making slavery illegal, and whereas slavery within the United States is most often found in the form of forced labor and sex trafficking, which weakens our social fabric, increases violence and organized crime, and debases our humanity. And whereas the heinous crime found within our own community, and whereas the Iowa Network Against Human Trafficking and Slavery has been working since 2005 to abolish all forms of human trafficking throughout education, prevention, volunteerism, advocacy, and collaboration. And whereas even though the awareness of this crime is growing, human trafficking continues to go unreported due to its isolating nature, misunderstanding of its definition, and the lack of awareness about its indicators. And whereas increased community education on how to identify victims of human trafficking, along with increased knowledge of local resources and services for those affected by these criminal actions, can help restore freedom and dignity to identified survivors and will help diminish the number of future victims. And whereas every business, community organization, faith community, family, and individual can make a difference by choosing products that are not made by forced labor, by working to protect younger people from sexual exploitation, by addressing the problem of internet trafficking and pornography, and by becoming more aware of the problem and possible solutions. And now, therefore, the Cerro Gordo County Board of Supervisors hereby proclaim the month of January 2026 as Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, and encourage more informed this growing problem to be vigilant and report suspicious activity, and to work towards solutions to the end of trafficking in all its forms in our community. If you see something doesn't look right, take action. Call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at the listed number. For more information and resources about trafficking in Iowa, go to the Network Against Human Trafficking and Slavery at the listed website. Signed the second day of March 2026. All right. Moving on to number 7, planning and zoning. Consider resolution adopting doc assignments policy. This would be resolution number 19. Tom, Michelle, anything to add on this?
This is the same policy as last year, so there's no changes. Do you have any questions?
Adopt the resolution.
I move to approve resolution 2026-19 to accept the doc policy.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the resolution adopted.
Manure management reports, I saw no changes, so I would, move to have the chair sign these and forward on to the DNR.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Mr. Engineer.
Brian.
Good morning. So with the weather coming up, looking pretty nice, we're hoping to get enough wind and the roads dry out so we can spend more and more time out there on the roads grading, getting them into better shape. So that's the biggest thing is we're going to be trying to get out there and get stuff done as the weather warms up here. So it'll depend a lot on how dry the road is and how much of a mess we're making. Trying to get out there. That's the balancing point this time of year is the road's a bit soft for us to be on sometimes, but we'll get out there and get as much done as we possibly can. This week on March 5th, I will get the crushing bits back for what we're going to crush up in the North County around the Lehigh area, and I'll report that back to you guys next week. We did finally receive our last load of salt for the year. We contracted 750 tons, and that's what we got in. All of our bunkers are completely full. We hauled in a bunch of sand, mixed that up, and distributed it so everybody's all ready to go in case we get some kind of frozen rain or any other event at this time of year. So we're ready to go on that. We received that used mini last week. We went and hauled it back. Hopefully, I have insurance on it this week. We did find out officially that the attachments we have for our smallest mini all fit on this one. So everything's interchangeable between the two, which is what we assumed. But until things actually hook up, you never know if things are slightly different or not. Good news, everything we already have with the little mini will work on a big one. We did get news from Western Star that our newest chassis is in, and we'll be able to pick that up this week. We got everything insured on it, so we can get that up to a Christ steel to begin the process to get the box on it.
Will you have that? How long does it take them to do the box stuff?
Probably about 3 to 4 months.
That long?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's by the time we get snow equipment, and that's going to be the biggest hang up on it. For whatever reason, the snow equipment suppliers are all way behind. So it'll be up there until that stuff's ready to go. So we'll have it before next winter, which is our intention. We hauled up all of the items that we're going to put into auction. So we have 4 or 5 things up at the auction to get those disposed of properly. So I'll let you guys know the results of that once those auctions go through. They kind of piece them out so they make sense. They kind of auction the same types of equipment together to get more interest in there to increase the bidding. So it'll take a little while, but I'll let you guys know how that ends up.
Was there anything in the Rockwell shop to consider before?
Yeah, we've moved a lot of stuff out of there that are things. We palletized a couple things so that if it's worth more than $100, we can put it on a pallet together. That'd be more than $100 of value, and then they'll auction that off as well. So we've done that. Speaking of Rockwell, I guess I'll talk about that right now. The property pins were set out there. Now, he called me back and we did his calculations of everything. They realized the northern 2 pins had to move 5 feet farther north from what they had previously, but he was going to come out there this week and correct it. We have an upcoming for the moving for a variance of that, for our building on that, figure out what our setbacks are going to be for our property line in our existing buildings. And we're going to kind of discuss that the alleyway that's supposed to be north of our property line is actually within our property. So we want to make sure that's not held against us there in this variance meeting, that for whatever reason I have in mind here down into our property at some point in the past, and it's been that way for a long time. Just want to make sure that that's not going to be something that adjust the location or size of that building allowed to be. But other than that, it ended up to be, the front of the building ended up being what we thought it was. Our existing cold storage shed is directly on the line, like essentially zero offset. And the existing shop with the vehicles in it is against our west property line with zero offset, which is what we assumed it was, but it's just nice to know that we're not off. I guess everything was done correctly in the past as far as that goes. So we did get, we don't have any asbestos in that cold storage building. The tests have not come back to say if there's any lead or anything like that needs to be removed, but with no asbestos, in your remediation has to be pretty expensive. I'll let you guys know when we get those results back. Well, that's a very simple building. So we're gonna give the sheriff's department an opportunity if they want to use that to do some training, and then we're probably gonna tear it down ourselves. It's a small, simple building. We don't need to hire anybody else to do that work. So, so there'll be more updates on that if you can bullshit to it. So while you're on the right phone, so the excavation
and that kind of stuff, after the pins.
yeah, now with the pins are in, they're able to get everything, they're gonna kind of solidify everything and make sure it all makes sense. It's also, I think he's gonna wait at this point for the variance meeting so that he can make the plan fit exactly where the building is gonna be allowed. So
I asked for one reason, and that's to see what we can get, what's possibly gonna get done in this year.
I think that for certain, I think the site work should all be done. Hopefully all the utilities are moved to at least the edges of the site and the dirt work or the remediation will be done before the end of this fiscal year. Thanks. We got a paint bids in for this year. I had budgeted $100,000. It came in at $125,000. We had a pretty aggressive paint schedule this year. So I'm gonna assess it as to whether there's anything that I feel that we can drop or not. Look at adjacent items in that service area and see what we can reduce. I'd rather not reduce painting, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna do some adjustments internally in my budget to see if I can swing having everything we estimated to get painted this year. I'll let you guys know that. I'll probably print out a map of which roads are gonna get painted, just to let you know. Because some of them I receive complaints on, just so that if people call in, tell them that it's this spring. After the roads clear out and dry out, mine have the paint crews coming in to get that down for us. I just want to remind you guys, next week I will not be at the meeting. I'll send you there. Andy or Spencer up here. I'm gonna go down to Nevada for spring break. So you guys can call me or whatever you want to do, but I won't be here physically. You guys got any other questions for me?
My standing question, you get started on the fence yet? Put out the bids.
I got bids for that. Yep. So I guess I can discuss this after with you. But yeah, we do got bids for that now. So
The north side,
I probably will do, I haven't bid it, so it's the north side, then the south side, and then the west side. And then we got some prices for a sliding gate on that southern end, on the south entrance. So it's kind of piecemeal as to which ones we can do. The west side of the property needs some more piles moved and some fixing done, I guess, to the grade before we can put a fence on it. But the north fence can go on pretty easily without any kind of work. The south fence will need a little bit of, there's some things we'll have to move around a bit. But it's not too bad. You should already both those concerns.
that's pretty much all that's left on that project, isn't it?
The cold storage building, besides that, but that's down the road after we get a bunch of other stuff sorted out.
And are the pins locatable on the west side of that property where the piles of crap are?
We'll see. I am not entirely sure. I know they can be calculated. I don't know if they physically. I think with all the trees and everything that's out there and just kind of what's been done in that area, I'm not sure how easy it will be to find. Yeah, we'll definitely find them before we put a fence in.
Anything else? All right. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Well, you're in the old mode. Big move session under Iowa Code 20.7.3 for strategy session for public employee related collective bargaining. And this will be a roll call. All right. Is there a motion? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion second.
Gina,
Yes.
Watts, Brown,
Yes. Communication, announcements. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Motion in a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned. Thank you.